Hey everyone, I'm your director, David Camp, and today we're going to be talking about my crazy neighbor that wants to kill our dogs. You see, we have this neighbor that, since he moved in, hasn't really talked to us or interacted with us at all, and hasn't really been a problem for us up until recently, when he threatened to hurt our dogs constantly. And the backstory for this was that my sister was outside, I assume cleaning up the yard or something, when my mom heard yelling outside. To which, when I went to the door, my sister came in and said that our neighbor was yelling at her about how our dogs won't stop barking and how he wants to hurt them and all this stupid stuff. And my mom, of course, goes outside, tells the dogs to hush, and asks him what his problem is. To which he keeps saying that anytime he's in his house, the dogs start barking. Anytime he moves from room to room, the dogs start barking. And the thing is, this guy's blinds and curtains are always closed. And they're not like thin curtains or anything. They're like thick curtains that you can't see through. So there's no way our dogs could have seen him and just started barking, but whatever. And he keeps saying that the dogs are keeping him up at night, and he gets up really early. And this is the point where I think, okay, maybe he's at least a little civil. Sure, the dogs are annoying. We'll try and stop that. So we get a vinegar bottle ready after my mom talks to him, and, it all gets calmed down. My dad goes over there later after he gets off work. It's all completely calmed down, and we start training the dogs to be a little bit quieter. And we thought it was over after that one day, but then the next day, he complains again to my sister. To which my sister came in, whole thing again, my mom went out, and he again had the same problem. Dogs won't stop barking, nobody's coming out to stop them. Thing is, we were. We constantly came out with a vinegar bottle, and we sprayed them. It was water vinegar. And we sprayed them, and they were quiet. Evidently, that wasn't good enough for him, so he came out, he complained to my mom, whole fight ensued again. Not really a fight, my mom was calm the whole time, he wouldn't stop yelling, which kind of annoyed me. Same thing as the first time, my mom says, we'll take care of it. She goes, she goes inside, and, we think that is that. Of course it's not, and the next day, me, my dad, and my dad's friend are working in one of the bedrooms. We're remodeling our house. And what happens here is while we're remodeling our house, we finish up with the room we're doing, and I start putting things away from outside, the saw and whatnot, only for the guy to start talking to me and asking me, where's the vinegar bottle? And I didn't have the water vinegar on me. And to this point, I was a little annoyed at the guy, so I just said no, and then I walked off, because I really didn't want to interact with this guy. He hadn't made a good impression already. So I walked off, I put the saw away, and then I came out, and then he started asking, why did you say no to me when I asked where the vinegar bottle is? Have you even been spraying them? To which my dad came out, saw the commotion, and I looked at my dad with this face that basically told him, I don't want to talk to this guy, take care of this, please. So my dad tells me to get inside and clean up the room that we were working on. So I get inside, I start sweeping up. And as my dad and this guy are talking, the guy reveals that he's been using rubbing alcohol to spray at our dogs. And my dad explains to him that this is not good. You can't spray dogs with rubbing alcohol. Look it up if you don't know what that means. Basically, it harms them and it's poison to dogs. Don't spray your dogs with rubbing alcohol, please. And my dad tells him not to do it again. The guy brushes it off and says whatever, walks back inside of his house, and we hope that that was that. Sure enough, the next day, me and my dad head on down to Walmart to pick something up real quick. And as we're at Walmart, we're about to leave when my dad gets a call from my mom. Now, I was thinking it's something about groceries. We go ahead and answer, and she says that she called the cops on the guy because he once again was spraying our dogs with alcohol. And the way my mom knew this was because my sister was outside and she saw the guy about to spray our dog with alcohol. Now, the thing about this is that our dog barked once and then stopped. And he evidently pulled out the alcohol bottle as he was in his yard and was about to spray at our dog, to which my sister says, "Sir, please don't do that. My dad's already told you to stop," and whatnot, to which he starts cursing out my sister. Now, I already don't like that, and me and my dad decide that we gotta go. So we drive on back home, and, well, we don't really have sufficient evidence about this guy. We have cameras, but I haven't really checked them yet, so I can't tell if we got this guy on camera, but, we head on down, and we see that there are already cops there. And, they're talking to my mom, they're asking her all these questions, and she gives them the full story about this guy, and, then they say that they're going to go talk to him. So they walk on over to my neighbor's house, and they start talking to him, and then they come back and say that he basically brushed off all their questions. He kind of ignored them and said that he wasn't going to do it again, but it sounded like a nonchalant answer. So if we had any more problems, call them up, they'll take care of it. But dogs don't really have a noise thing. I don't really remember the name of the law or whatever, but basically after a certain time you can't make a certain level of loud noise at your house, say loud music or something. After about 10 or 11 o'clock, you can't make too much loud noise at all. Otherwise, you can get the cops called on you and they'll make you stop it. And that doesn't apply to dogs. So they say that there's nothing they can really do about it. They work with, like, humans and assault and whatnot. We would have to call dog police or whatever. To which my mom just says, okay, and they say, here's our card, call us if you need, if there's any more problems with this guy. And my mom says, okay, to which our neighbors come on down, our actual friendly neighbors come on down, and they start talking with us about how my sister's they need my sister to babysit for them, and we're like, sure. And during this, I saw our neighbor coming up, and he says, "Hey, neighbor," in, like, this really rude tone. He starts walking up, and then he sees that now, instead of being a group of 4 people, we are now a group of 6, because of our neighbors near us. To which he just looks, and then he shakes his head and storms back off into his house. And that was really basically it since, I want to say, last week. We haven't really had problems with this guy. He's really kept inside of his house. He hasn't bothered our dogs. He did threaten to poison them with meat, but we check our yard every single day. He hasn't done that, and he's not allowed to spray in our yard at all. And yeah, that's basically that. I'll give an update to this story if there is one to give in the future. But until then, I hope you enjoyed this story. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's my first time making a story time, so if there's any critiques, please give me them in the comments below. I really want to make this a series on this channel. I really like doing this. I really just kind of like talking about interesting things that happen in my life, and I think this would be a good place for it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. And, yeah. Hope you all had a great day. And subscribe to Leather Up Studios if you're not already. If you don't, I don't care. Anyways.